T'es vraiment pas prévenu juste cinéma,
Kenneth Copeland is a very false teacher. But there are many people who believe in that version of speaking in tongues. So is it legit? Is it biblical? When Jesus was given the Great Commission here in Mark chapter 16, he said that his people would speak with new tongues. Well, first, what does it mean by the word new? Jesus is speaking here as well, and he says, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you." But you see, Jesus was simply referring to the commands that he had given in the Old Testament. This wasn't a new commandment, but it was new to the disciples. It's like getting a new used car. It's new to you, even though it's used. So let's look at stories in the Bible of when the gift of tongues actually happened. It always happens in conjunction with the Holy Spirit falling on people, and it always happens with known languages. So here in Acts chapter 2, this is the day of Pentecost. This is when the Holy Spirit fell upon the early disciples, and they were preaching to a massive crowd. And as you can see, everybody heard them in their own language. And in this particular instance, it wasn't even that the apostles were speaking in new languages. It was that everybody heard them in their own language. Here we see the same thing. The Holy Spirit fell on a crowd, and they heard them preaching in their own language. Now here in 1 Corinthians 14, the Apostle Paul gives us some very important counsel on the issue of speaking in tongues. You see, the city of Corinth was a major international city. It had a couple of major international seaports. And so you had the churches there with people who spoke different languages from all over the place. And so you'd have people who would rise up to give a testimony or pray or give a lesson, and they would speak in their own language. But the people who didn't understand them wouldn't get any blessing from that because they didn't understand. And so Paul is telling them, hey guys, what good is that? If you speak in a language nobody else understands, nobody's going to be edified. See, there has to be a purpose to the speaking in tongues. It cannot just be gibberish, as this false teacher Kenneth Copeland is doing. Paul says, if I come speaking with tongues, what shall it profit, unless it's for knowledge or prophesying or doctrine or something like that? He's saying that it's better to speak with understanding than with an unknown tongue. You can't just make up gibberish and call it a language. And here, Paul goes so far as to say this. He says if someone's going to speak in an unknown tongue, that being a language that they don't know, not gibberish, he says, let one interpret. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence. Let him speak to himself and to God. It's always with known languages, not gibberish. I had a professor in college, he was speaking, I believe it was in South Korea, and the interpreters stopped interpreting because the Holy Spirit had given him the gift of tongues and everybody heard him in their own language. So it still happens, but with known languages, not with gibberish.